Street Fighter 2. The sheer mention of that name brings a smile to millions. Every fan harbors their own nostalgic memories, whether it be the graphics, the sound, the music, the feels in the arcade, the friendships forged. For me, it will forever be synonymous with the Dirty Guy. Who is the Dirty Guy, you may ask? My kin. Let's begin. Street Fighter 2 was released in 1991 by Capcom. As the name suggests, it was a sequel. The original was developed a few years earlier, but it hadn't made a significant impact. In fact, many Street Fighter 2 fans never knew Street Fighter 1 existed. Part 2 perfected what its predecessor pioneered. Whenever I hear Street Fighter 2, it automatically reminds me of a certain person. Till this day I don't know his name, but I named him the Dirty Guy. Metaphorically and literally speaking. See, back in those days, $1 was enough for a kid to get a decent meal in at recess and hit the arcades after school for a game. If you had $2, you were balling. Keeping that in mind, the Dirty Guy had notes in his wallet, I kid you not. 20s, 50s. At school he was only a couple of years my senior. But he was a boater, so for all we knew, he was probably a 30-year-old with a wife and kids paying rent while studying the 9th grade. The one thing we did know is that he had mastered Street Fighter 2. The Dirty Guy will be in the arcade every day, including Saturday and Sunday, in his full school uniform, which tells you that he had no interest in changing or washing his clothes, nor his face for that matter, because the sleep in his eyes, crumbs of snot on his nose were out in full glory. But he cared not. The Dirty Guy wasn't planning an assault on the Chanel runway. He had other ideas. He'd lurk around the arcade, waiting for an unassuming victim to put his money into the Street Fighter machine, just as a crocodile patiently waits submerged underwater for a vulnerable, thirsty gazelle to commit the fatal mistake of quenching its thirst from the watering hole. And many a time, I happened to be this gazelle. You'd put your money in, smiling in anticipation of trying to master the moves and combos against all the different computer-controlled characters. Could I beat the game this time? Could I actually beat Bison? But by the time the plane lands in the USSR, you realise it's too late. The Dirty Guy is standing next to you with a sly smirk on his arrogant, snot-filled face. Before you can even get your first Hadouken in on Zangief, here comes a new challenger. Mostly he'd choose Ryu or Ken, depending on which one was available. But always, he would run over all the other characters as if he was tempted to pick one of them, already infuriating you. Round 1. The Dirty Guy beats you to a pulp. Round 2. He lets you get a few shots in, then proceeds to smash you again, only to back off. He deliberately lets you finish him to make it to the 3rd round. Before the last round would start, he had an irritating habit of running his fingers rhythmically across the last button, making a sound akin to what the poker players make when they shuffle the chips. And let me tell you now, it will make your freaking blood boil. Mostly because when you heard that sound, you know what would ensue. Round 3. He deliberately lets you drain half his energy bar until he starts playing. Before you know it, your money's gone, along with any hope of completing the game. The Dirty Guy drinks your tears and proudly exhibits another scalp to his ever-growing collection. You'd have nightmares about him. However, touching on my last video about thinking positively and looking for good in a bad situation, there was a silver lining in copying and hiding from the Dirty Guy. You were playing against the best of the best, so besides learning a trick or two from him, he set the bar so high that anything below that became a walk in the park for you, building you into a better player. In fact, I developed my game so much that I found myself doing to others more or less the same as I enjoyed from him. One particular day, I remember challenging a kid and beating him. The look on his face broke my heart, and I came to the stark realization I had become the Dirty Guy. I immediately made the choice to give the kid my game and walk away. The power was too great. and I had to save myself from what I could become. And thankfully so. In essence, even the greatest have a bit of dirty guy in them. Cocky, showboating and taunting their prey. When you train hard enough and master your craft, you earn the right to flaunt it. The lesson to take from all this is, whatever you want to pursue in life, pursue it with relentless vigor. Practice until you've had enough, then practice some more. Whether it's study, research, selling, put all you have into it. Surround yourself with the masters, the best of the best in that industry, and let them challenge you into learning, practicing and mastering your craft until you become the dirty guy of your field. But when you do master something, be humble and don't forget your roots. I believe we are all family. Hence, I refer to you as my kin. I'm a strong advocate of self-improvement, and just as much so into helping those around us improve themselves. You can be in a good mental, physical and financial state, but unless you're in an equally abundant environment, it is useless. As a human being, the most important thing in life is sharing our happiness, knowledge, positivity with others. Inspiring, educating, entertaining. And that's exactly what I'm aiming to do with you. So my kin, tune in for the next video. Till then, Sarge says, don't procrastinate. Practice till you become the dirty guy. Take care.